This is where we're going to look at activities that will promote expository language as well as writing for that informative and explanatory text. We're now on page 37. Let's look at what lecture notes offers you if you present these to your children in the classroom. First of all, lecture notes will develop academic language, which is critical. If we want our kids to write with more sophistication, they need to have the language. Therefore, develop their academic language. And this takes many rehearsals, much practice, teacher modeling. But that's going to bridge and connect to their own writing. So we want them to develop academic language to connect to their own writing. The next thing we want to look at is front-loading social studies and science concepts and vocabulary. Now, I previously mentioned this to you, but lecture notes does just that. When I want to present or introduce a new unit of study, what am I going to do? I'm going to front-load the concepts, and I'm going to front-load the vocabulary necessary for kids to grasp and understand whatever we're learning in science and social studies at a much deeper level. This is a fabulous way for you to give your kids background. Now, if you look at the next section here, what you'll see is it introduces graphic organizers, which are really critical when kids are organizing their thoughts. One thing that I want to show you about our graphic organizers when we're using this activity is they really do help kids identify what's necessary in expository writing. If you look, this is basically what our organizer will look like. It will have a top section, and this top section will be the big idea. Now, the big idea is what we call, when we're looking at paragraphs, when we're looking at essays, the big idea is either the topic sentence or the thesis statement. We just call it the big idea at first. What's the big idea of this information? And what you'll find is I have a secret formula I teach the kids so that it's engaging information for them to actually get involved and want to know what the secret formula is. And it also provides them with a way to identify all the parts of a big idea, what they need in order to grasp that big idea of the information. And then the next section of this organizer is going to be the body. Now, the body is going to organize all the information. So like if it was a paragraph, it would be the details. If it was an essay, it would be the paragraphs. But the body here, what this is going to be information that what tells all about the big idea. That's critical so the kids can understand what the big idea is about, understand the information, but also learn how to stay organized. How do they stay organized? What are our organizational tools when we look at these types of lecture notes? Well, one way that you'll organize is you'll sequence the information. Another way is you'll categorize it. If you need to describe the information, then what we're going to do is we're going to use the content diagrams. And that's the second activity I told you about. And that's when you need to have a description, plus you're going to have a lot of content vocabulary you need to teach the kids. So I usually use a content diagram for that. What will it end up producing? Descriptive expository writing. So this not only will give kids the background information, it will also teach them how to organize information starting with a big idea and organizing it body into a sequence, categorizing the details, or writing it into a description. That's critical for kids to understand all those text structures as well as the concepts and vocabulary. When do we teach this? All year long. This should be an activity that your kids get used to, where they understand every time they're going to learn new information, they want to know what the big idea is, that they start organizing the details. And eventually, this may not just be an oral language activity where you're just the person filling in an organizer. If I were working with first graders, kinders I don't know as much. I don't know if I would actually use this where they were taking the notes. It would be more of an oral language activity for them. But first grade, as the year goes on and the kids are able to write sentences, then they actually will be taking the notes, and then those notes will turn into writing. Okay, let's get started. Let's find out how to do the lecture notes, and then I'll show you content diagrams. Please turn to page 38. We're going to now Do a lecture note lesson. Now I'm going to treat you the same way I would treat the children so that you can actually see the steps. Up here on this page, on page 38, this is a shrunken version of a lecture note piece of paper. You can just use blank paper, or you can actually have this black line master, which you'll find later in the chapter. Let's go ahead and use this. I would have this up on my document viewer, or I have it blown up large on a chart. And what I would do is I would say to the kids, boys and girls, we're going to be starting a farm unit, and in this farm unit, we're going to be learning about farmers. When I tell kids this, I tell them, boys and girls, kids, when they're in college, they take lecture notes, and that's what this is. And this is how I do it. Ready? The kids are at the carpet, and I say, boys and girls, we're going to do an activity right now called lecture notes. And lecture notes is a college level activity. I'm going to treat you like college students. This is what's going to happen when we take lecture notes. I'm going to tell you what we're going to learn about, and I'll tell you how the college kids respond. Are we ready? First of all, we are going to learn about the farm and farmers. Now, college students do not let me get away with that. They always go, what's the big idea about farmers? They don't want to just say, oh, I'm learning about farmers. They want to know the big idea. So you do that. And then the kids go, what's the big idea about farmers? And I usually say, thank you very much. I would love to tell you the big idea. And whenever I tell you a big idea, I always start off with a secret formula. Everybody say secret formula time. Ready? Secret formula time. We have a secret formula for the big idea. So let's all go. Big idea. You do it with me. Ready? Go. Big idea has a secret formula, and it's what all the information is about. What's the big idea about farmers? Well, our secret formula is setting, subject, big idea. And we actually say S, light bulb, to make it a short secret formula. So our secret formula is SS light bulb. What is it? SS light bulb. What's the first S stand for? Setting. Look at your wrist like you're looking at a watch and say setting tells me when, and then look up like you're looking somewhere and say where. So what does setting tell us? When and where. All right, when is this information happening about farmers and where? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to either write keywords or draw simple icons, not detailed pictures, just simple icons. So I'm going to say to the kids, all right, you want to know when this information is happening. Oh, this is happening all year long. Let's read our lecture notes, because college kids always read their lecture notes. Put your hand in the air and let's read all year long. Ready, everyone? Go. All year long. Let's look at our setting and ask, where is this information happening? Go ahead and ask me, where is this information happening? It's happening on a farm. Now, I could write farm or I could draw a quick farm. It doesn't matter. Let's go back and let's read our notes. Ready? All year long, down on the farm. Ready? All year long, down on the farm. Now we have our setting. Let's go to the second S.